Hi, I'm Amanda, and you're watching the Reading and Writing Live, and my dog is whining. Today's video is all about the books I've read recently. If you're new here, I just make a clip every time I finish reading a book, and I put them all together for you today. So here they are. Get ready for some weird hair, some tired eyes, and some really good books. So it's been a couple of days. I've been reading a really long book, and so it took me a little while to finish. Hi, there's my puppy. And so I haven't updated in a couple of days. I know you don't know that because I put them all together, but it's just been a couple of days, which it usually doesn't take me that long. So anyway, I just finished a book called What You Heard Is True. And it was my NPR biography from 2019 under biography and memoir section of the NPR Book Concierge. And it's written by Carolyn Forche. So I'm going to read to you what the NPR thing said about it. When poet Carolyn Forche was in her late 20s, a friend's cousin showed up at her door. The charismatic stranger had driven from El Salvador to persuade her to visit and perhaps write about his country, which in the late 70s was on the verge of violent civil war. Forche decides to go and witness the poverty of the country's citizens and the immorality of the military government. This is an adventure story. Together, they dodge death squads and find refuge in remote villages, but it's also about racial empathy and the awakening of social conscience. It was really good. It's written by Carolyn and told. She actually reads the audiobook. Like I said, it is kind of long. However, it was about almost 15 hours on audio, but I was able to check it out from the library and took me a few days and I read it. It's really exactly what it says it is. She just went. You hear how naive she was through almost all of this, how she just didn't know what was going on. She didn't really know why she was there. She just decided to go. And that's the way I like to do things. So I really liked that about her and just going into a new adventure and a new opportunity. And I love that she's the one who tells the story, that she reads it. It has a lot of English and Spanish words, so I would suggest listening to it if you don't know Spanish words very well, or at least let her pronounce them for you if you want to do that. It was just really good. I didn't know anything about the El Salvadoran Civil War that it's called now, and that it lasted for 12 years. Like, I was alive. I was born in 1977, which is the year that she left to go there. And so I guess I was 12. Well, it stopped 12 years later, but it didn't start officially until 1979. So I guess I was 14 when it stopped, and I still didn't know anything about it. Although she does talk about Oscar Romero, which is a priest, and I had heard his name before. And so maybe somewhere in my consciousness, I had heard something about it before, but I definitely didn't remember anything or know anything about this stuff for sure. It was just really good, and I really liked it. So I am picking up the next book, which there's one that I want to read, but I have it on hold, so I'll talk about it after it comes off of hold. So I've skipped that one on my list. If you've seen my list, I've skipped that one, and I'm down to a new release library book. So that's what I'm about to do, is search my library, find one of the new releases, and that's what I'm going to read next. I finished another book. I also turned the light off behind me so that there wouldn't be the big bright glare. Anyway, this one was called Johnny Appleseed by Joshua Whitehead. And it was my new library book pick. It's not a new book. It came out in 2018, I think, maybe even 2017. Anyway, it has been nominated and won quite a few awards. He is Canadian. He is part of the First Nation in Canada, which is the equivalent of the Native Americans in the United States. It's about it's about growing up on a reservation and moving out, and kind of his not his, Joshua, but the character Johnny is his name. It's about his journey to get back. Specifically, what happens is his stepdad has passed away, and he has to, and his mom wants him to come back for the funeral. So he's spending a few days trying to get, he lives in Winnipeg, and he's spending a few days trying to get enough money to go back to the res and see his mom and be there for the funeral. It is a difficult book to read. I guess Johnny is trying to find his place, his space in, he is part of the LGBTQ community as well as being Native, and he calls himself the NDN Glitter Princess. And yes, I had to Google what NDN was, and then somebody on the thing said, just say it out loud. And I was like, oh, Indian, like Indian. Okay, so anyway, I did not know that. I learned that. But he works, if you're interested in reading this book, maybe you should just read the back of it, maybe a description about it. His job, he is it says on the back, the description says cyber sex worker, but it seems to not always be only cyber. Again, if that matters to you, then maybe skip it or not. I don't know. It was a good book. It was beautifully written, and I did give it 4 stars. But to say that I liked it or that I had fun reading it would not be true. But, and I read the audio version, which I definitely recommend that you do as well, because I was able, number one, I checked this out from the library, but also Joshua Whitehead reads the book, and he has some words in there that are not in English. And so he pronounces them correctly, and you don't have to like stumble over the words. I just always like when authors read their own writing, if they can do a good job of it. I also went and looked at the book because the way he was reading it, it almost sounded like it was written in verse. And I was like, is this in verse? And so I went and found it, and no, it's not. I think it just also has to do with the cadence of the language and the cadence of the way that he speaks. And that makes it, I don't know, it just makes it feel like he's telling you a story about his life or about this guy that he knows named Johnny. Anyway, like I said, I appreciate it for what it was trying to teach me. And I'm always trying to read books that are written about people by people who have that experience. So like, I definitely would never write a book trying to explain what life is like on a reservation. So I just always try to make sure that I do that. Okay, now I'm off to find my next read. So we finished a book at school today. So that means I have a physical copy of a book. Okay, it's called A Long Way from Chicago, and it's written by Richard Peck. And it was so cute. Like, I didn't want it to be over today. It's about a boy and his sister. His name is Joey, and her name is Mary Alice. And it's told from the point of view of Joey. And it starts out, I'm not sure how old he is. It's 1929. Okay, he's 9 years old. And every chapter in this book is another summer where these two kids have gone to their grandma's house. And they live in Chicago. That's why it's called A Long Way from Chicago. They live in Chicago, and she does not. But she lives just a train ride away. So every summer, the two of them ride the train to Grandma's house for a week. And so this book is just filled with one story every week of visiting Grandma's house. It is so cute. At one point, a line, well, on the back, okay, I'll read you the back. I don't read the backs before I read the books, but this literally is like one sentence. It's not going to tell you anything. Join Joey and his sister Mary Alice as they spend 7 unforgettable summers with the worst influence imaginable, their grandmother. And it was just so good. It was so funny. We kept stopping and just cracking up. I was like, I cannot believe she just did that. Like, the grandmother is hilarious. And he actually has written a ton of books for middle grade books, I guess they would be called. And we're reading the next one that's about Mary Alice, where she spends a whole year with her grandma. So that one will be in future videos because we read them based on our school schedule, so we read them really slowly. But anyway, that one was really cute. If you like middle grade fiction or you have a middle grader, that one is probably okay too for elementary age kids, as long as they can read it, and anybody would like to listen to it, I'm sure. So it's just a cute collection of little stories from each summer or each week in the summer that they spent with their grandmother, and it was really cute. Well, it's Saturday, and I finished another book today. I'm reading a series. It started a long time ago, so I'm sure that, you've probably heard of it, but it's a mystery series by Janet Evanovich, and this one is number 4, so it's called 4 to Score. The first one was called 1 for the Money, 2, I don't remember, 3 to Get Deadly, I think was number 3. Anyway, there's a theme in case you hadn't noticed. I'm not sure what number she's on right now, but these books are so cute. They are about Stephanie Plum, who is looking for what to do with her life. She doesn't know what to do with her life, and she ends up going to work for her cousin, who is a bond salesman. I don't know that word, maybe bondsman. Anyway, and she finds herself in all kinds of situations as she becomes a bounty hunter. And so you learn about that in the very first book. She does that at the very beginning. And then all the rest of the books are just her getting the bounties. And the people in her life just make it so much better. Her grandmother is hilarious and always wants to go with her on the cases and always has a gun with her, even though they have tried to get the guns away from her. She always seems to have a gun. So it's really funny and really good. It is adult. There are some adult situations in there. She has kind of an on again, off again fling with a police officer. So I don't know, I guess like in those TV shows where they keep putting the two people close together and you know they're eventually going to get together. I guess they eventually will, but we're just dragging it out for right now. So that is what I just finished reading. I liked it. I love the spin on the traditional mystery that she's a bounty hunter and she's always having to solve some kind of case to catch the person who has skipped out on their bail. It was really good. I gave it 4 stars, and I'm ready for the next one. So those are all the books. If you liked any of them, or if you want to read them or have read them, let me know. I would love to talk about them. As always, I would like to do a buddy read with anyone who's interested. Comment down below and we will set something up. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss anything that's coming up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.